The year is 1996, and Sega is just releasing Nights into Dreams. It is packed with this 3D control pad. It has a very interesting analog stick I still consider the best on the market. It has also 6 face buttons, perfect for fighting games. Seeing the first pictures and reading the article in the Sega magazine, the game almost had something mysterious. The pictures gave you a feeling of having something special and in competition with Mario 64. As I believe this was the first time a control pad was specially designed for one game. Being able to compare yourself with the N64, Mario, and having a 3D game with this quality and analog movements on the Sega Saturn was a big deal at this time. The game already introduces itself with a special atmosphere. Hard to describe. Also, choosing a Harlequin is strange, but somehow just fits to the game. I believe at this time I was a little disappointed that it's not an open world kind of 3D jump and run where you could fly. I don't remember if I knew that it's more like a racing game, but I don't think so. Nevertheless, the feeling of flight in this game with the analog control stick, what was completely new for me at this time, just felt very good, and you didn't really miss the jump and run aspect of the game. The gameplay is actually typical Sega and could have been in the arcade just like this. Nevertheless, it offered you still something more than this. You always were motivated to find more, to see the next level, but out of an art design view. You wanted to see what character design, level design, what crazy ideas come next. The almost creepy music, children that laugh in the background, the art design just kept you going and wanting to see more of this game. But there was actually an aspect of the game I really preferred even over Mario 64, and that was walking around with your character. There's actually not much to do, but the graphical presentation, the backgrounds, the uneven surface just gives you the feeling of wanting to explore. The somehow dark atmosphere and being chased by a clock just was perfect for the timing, as I was myself still in school. As graphics are not all, and especially with an arcade kind of game, you need a perfect gameplay. This is given, especially in the flying chapters of the game, what would probably be 80% of the game. You just have a perfect control of your character. I still think they could have made more in the 3D aspect of the game, walking around with your characters, maybe some more secrets to find, a little gameplay here and there. It's a missed opportunity, but still, I find myself always wanting to go back into the game, just walking around, especially the forest stage. Actually, there was something like a DLC. It came shortly after and was called Christmas Nights. I remember reading that it was a very limited production and not having a lot of stores with Sega Saturn games. Actually, I only knew one, and that was about 30 to 40 kilometers away in a time without internet. I thought I have no chance of getting this game. But I did, probably because I was one of a few that had a Sega Saturn in that area, but still I was very happy about this. I personally think this should have been in the original game. Maybe it was for the original game, but they didn't have enough time, so they gave it away later on. Probably this is the story, but a lot of things this DLC offers was missing in the main game. Costumes, specials, more to explore. One possibility was even to walk or run around with Sonic the Hedgehog. This was a big thing as there was no 3D Sonic. Overall, there were very good ideas, like having special art design and costumes for certain holidays. It just belongs to the main game. overall, I really enjoyed this game, played still nowadays, and I think I used the 3D control pad as a standard pad afterwards. I remember I was really happy reading about a remake for the PS3, which I had. I know it also came out on the Xbox 360. At first, I didn't really see a big difference, but if you just check out both versions simultaneous, then you will see a big difference. I really enjoyed the idea that they kept everything very simple and similar. They did include Christmas Nights, what I liked. The contrast and the lighting is much higher, deeper, more intense. The polygons are smoother, and overall, it's a very pretty game still nowadays. But I somehow never had fun. I played it through. I had to. I loved Nights. I didn't play it for a long time at that point, and I just didn't feel the same. First, I thought it's because of the 3D pad of the PlayStation 3 I never really liked, but there was something else. Nowadays, I know what the issue is. It's the analog controls. There are none. This works with 8 directions, as if you would play with a normal Sega digital pad, and I do not know why they choose this. This actually breaks the game. It's too bad because this could have been the standard way to play. It is nicer to see. It's more available. Maybe not anymore, but it was at this time. But having no analog controls just ruins it. And because of this, I really can't recommend this. It's too bad because it could have been the standard edition. At the time Journey into Dreams came on the Wii, I actually wasn't playing any games at all, nor did I watch YouTube channels or read any console magazines, so I skipped over this. At least at first. Someday I heard of it. I had the Wii, later on the Wii U, and somehow the information was that it is a point and click kind of control with the Wii remote. I didn't really care about this and didn't really continue bothering with this game. But a few years ago, I was in the mood for this. I saw some YouTube channels and I just thought, hey, I'm a big fan. I wasn't really happy with the remake, so let's test it. I bought it in a used condition and I wasn't really happy with the controls. I was happy that I can use the control pad, the analog sticks, but everything was not really feeling good. This time out of different reasons. First, you don't have any settings. You can't invert the controls, especially when you're walking around with the characters. It feels very strange. Second, I don't like the Wii control pads, also not the GameCube control pads, as you always have these 8 directions your analog stick locks into, so you can't really make a circular movement. As the game doesn't really offer many options, actually none almost, you can change the settings or the controls. That's a bummer because there are a few things that are really bad. You can't skip dialogue and you can't invert your movement, especially by the characters when they are walking. So I really left the game alone again for a few years and just came back recently. But this time on the Lenovo Legion Go with emulation. And actually I prefer this way because you can invert the camera control and you can save the progress whenever you want. You can't skip the dialogues, but as mentioned, you can save right after and you don't always have to re-watch. But now a few words about the game. Despite the critique it got, it's actually really good. It is what you wanted to have after playing Nights into Dreams. It continues everything you know, but offers you more, especially more what you wanted, more mini games, more adventurous settings. And also the control of Nights is very good using the analog control sticks of the Legion Go. I can't recommend it on the Wii with the Wii controllers, but you have nowadays all kind of options for this. So you could say you have more of everything. You have more missions, you have more story, you have bigger worlds, and again, lots of creative ideas and a beautiful graphic setting and lighting. And with the right analog control sticks, you have a beautiful gameplay and movement of Nights. So I really recommend this game, especially for fans of the first part. In the recent past, I think they really missed the opportunity to somehow bring one of these Nights games on the Nintendo Switch. It just feels like the right system to be on, but let's see what happens with the Switch successor.